Say, I remember the fifth point in the 10-point program is, wrapped around education and the necessity to know oneself, right? And knowing
our people. That's why I want to get back to this collective identity. Go ahead.
But I think added to that, I build on that. I think that for many of us, we wouldn't know who we are right now without your presence on the planet, without you and the revolutionaries, your revolutionary comrades. We wouldn't know who we are politically as a people. And there's not enough words to thank you for that. I give respect to everyone who has been a part of this webinar, and my heart goes out, and I think the same with everyone to you. And I think it needs to be acknowledged that we would not know politically who we are without bodies like yourself, without presences, revolutionary presences like yourself. And I give the biggest appreciation for that, and much love and much respect.
Well, I appreciate the time we've spent together and the fact that you guys have hung in there. Quite a few of you have. And I appreciate meeting most of you and having this conversation, because for me, this is all I think about. All I'm thinking about is ideas and ways to continue the struggle within the limitations of my own existence. And that's all you can do. The one thing I did learn is I can relax in that, because I'm not going to save the world. It's shocking. Nevertheless, I really won't be the one to save the world. And that's not going to happen. And I need to get over myself and realize that I have a contribution, and that as long as I stick to the script, I'm going to feel all right. As long as I'm doing something in the course of the day that provides a building block for something else, then I feel like, okay, I got that done. I'm good with myself, And when I lay it down at night, I can say, well, I'm all right with me. I'm at peace with me. And I learned that primarily from my friend Jamil Abdullah Alameen, who used to be H. Rat Brown. And, he was convicted in 2000 of the killing of a sheriff in Atlanta. And he's been in prison ever since. He was in the Supermax prison at one point, where I had an opportunity to visit with him. Theoretically, I'm still writing a book, a biography with his wife, Karima. Anyway, she's a lawyer, and she went to see him, and nobody could get to see him. But I told her, just say I'm your legal assistant or whatever. Just let me come in there, and they will allow it. And they did, because I wanted to interview him for the book, and I also wanted to talk to him, but I knew him, and he had been in the same prison with my boy, Lil B, that I write about. And he's like 6'5". So when he came into the cell on the other side of the glass, he's very tall. He had to duck down sort of to get through the doorway. And then they had to take the chains off him, so he has to bend backwards or something. He was really, And so he asked me how I was doing. And I said, well, how could I be doing? I'm on this side of the wall, Colorado, that U.S. federal prison in Colorado is all underneath a mountain. So there's no light or air to ever come, natural light or air. Anyway, I said, look, I get to walk out of here. So how can you ask me how I'm doing? I'm at? So I said, but I am depressed because I haven't been able to get my boy out to join. And all these years, all that I've done, I thought I was, excuse my language, I thought I was the baddest bitch. I said, this ain't gonna be nothing. Get some little boy out of prison. I handled it. I know this one. I know how to do that. I'll fight this, blah, blah. 25 years later. But anyway, I saw him and it was like less than that, obviously. And I said, so I feel bad because I haven't been able to get him out of prison. He said, well, let me ask you this question. And so I asked you, Stan, and everyone listening, did you put him in prison? Which is when you hear it, you go, it's obviously rhetorical, but the point is, what's the lesson? Oh, there it is. Well, you didn't put him in prison, a whole system of things in his case, blah, 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 all the little details. So you think you're just gonna come along and click your goddamn fingers and erase those hundreds of systemic things that caused him to be in prison. So I said, well, now that you put it like that, you know, and no, he said, here's the thing. He said, I'm a Muslim. And so we believe that everything is in Allah's hands. But we say this, that I'll tell you this, that it's only inevitable that and I'm going to close with this, Stan, don't ask me anything else. It's only inevitable that the pendulum will swing our way, because that's how life is, a state of constant flux. And it's only inevitable. And if we're ready, we'll be ready for that moment. So we just have to trudge along and be bored and do shit that ain't that rewarding, ain't that exciting, because that moment will come. Even if it's not in our lifetime, we will have been part of the building blocks that brought that moment about. It's only inevitable that time will bring, because it's either that or the planet will be destroyed. So either our way will win, and inevitably, because it will be required for our human survival, right? It will be required and it will happen, or else we will be destroyed. So that's the good news. And it may not happen the way we want and when we want. And we can't predict everything, obviously, or anything really. But if we keep our shoulder to the wheel, so if I keep fighting for Michael, even though he's not getting out, he's able to hold on. I don't know how. He did 6 years in the hole. One of them on 24-hour lockdown with no newspaper, no books, no radio, no nothing, and no outside, 1 hour outside. And he stayed sane, I don't know how. Although he did tell me for the first time that he ever considered suicide at that time. And, you know, the psychology of imprisonment is beyond anything we could discuss in this session. But in any case, if everyone sticks to the program, you will find joy inside your tears, as Stevie Wonder said. All right.